Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We are here today joined by John Sharp, co-founder and managing partner of Hatcher Plus, and also our keynote speaker. John, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure, Rhythm.
Now, John, as the co-founder of Hatcher Plus, a top data-driven venture firm, can you share how AI and data analytics are changing the landscape of venture capital investment?
Sure, happy to. So basically, we started as venture capitalists about a bit over 10 years ago. And what I immediately noticed after we'd done our first few deals is just how incredibly manual the process of going through and reading all the business plans and selecting the deals and meeting with everyone. And there's a lot of things in the process that I hadn't really expected to be there. For example, I was spending a lot of time coaching founders to try and get their business plan to a better sort of state of readiness and more complete and data that I needed, etc. And so gradually over time, it just seemed like it would be sensible if there was a way that we could develop AI that could coach the founders to do a better job of creating their pitch or their pitch deck or their executive summary. So we developed some software there, but we also found that in developing scoring algorithms, that we were able to very quickly figure out which of the 5 deals out of the 100 deals that would come in that week would be the ones that we should focus on. And that's really where the bulk of our effort has been. And so now we've analyzed over 600,000 companies. So we have quite a good model built on in terms of when it comes to understanding these companies. But the algorithm is quite important to the way that we look at companies because it enables us to quickly figure out, is this a venture backable company? What valuation are they asking? Is it realistic at that stage? Who are the competitors? And we're able to do all of that before we even look at the company because the AI sort of tees everything up for us. And then we'll send an email and say, hey, there's a red hot company here. You should have a look at that. So we found it to be really a really great efficiency tool. But beyond that, of course, then you're meeting with the founder and then everything, the human takes over. But the AI is a way of teeing up the deals, as a way of focusing on the best deals that are available. It's terrific for that.
Amazing, wonderful. That's a very unique perspective, John. Now, you've developed the AI powered FAST platform. So, how do you see this technology revolutionizing the fund management industry?
Yeah, so what we also noticed is there's a lot of fantastic applications in the front office that deal with deal flow and origination. And then there's some great applications in the middle office that deal with compliance and KYC and those areas. And then there's some fantastic portfolio management and cap table and fund admin tools, but they were all siloed. And so we would try and integrate with some of these tools and we just found it was an endless task. So eventually what we did is we built the FAST platform, which is designed to be the world's first integrated front office, middle office, back office that enables you to select from different vendors and plug them in as needed. So we can plug in, just as a random example, you can use Xero as your accounting system, you can use us as your accounting system, or you can use something like FundCount as your accounting system. These are FundCount is like a tool for managing hedge funds and doing hedge fund style accounting, and Xero we all know is here for very small businesses. Yeah. So they're going to be, we'll enable people to plug in the most appropriate technology at each stage that they're investing at or at each stage they're managing their assets. And that seems to be really good for a lot of folks because not everyone has an IT team to plug together these applications. So by integrating everything and offering an amazing set of features to people in a secure blockchain-powered way, that seems to hit the 3 biggest hot buttons that most of the family offices and VCs that use our system want to hit.
Amazing. Very interesting indeed, John. Now, with your extensive experience in cybersecurity, fintech, and now venture capital, how do you see these fields intersecting in the future of technology investment?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So when you think about the what cybersecurity is really about, cybersecurity is about protection, but it's also about reducing risk and reducing errors. And what I love about blockchain is that blockchain is the future. Eventually, all the data that we consume will come off chain, and it will be testable and immutable and verified by thousands of other folks on that network. So I love blockchain from a data veracity standpoint. I think it's absolutely fantastic and will be the foundation of all of the future approaches to cybersecurity and fintech. Because you think about it, if you're in a closed system where you absolutely know that you can trust the data that you're getting, and there's no way into that system and no way to really get in the way of that data, and then you can use that to power transactions or to power algorithms that are going to help you do those transactions, you're in fantastic shape. Versus, say, 10 years ago when you're dealing with unstructured data and cybersecurity that could sort of get in between you and the data. The future is going to be quite rosy in the sense of being able to lock down the data, know that the data is valid, and then use that to power the kind of transactions of any kind, even very powerful transactions within asset management, down to the simplest transaction when we're in a retail store. So I'm actually quite bullish on a future powered by blockchain because I think it will be less reliant on some of the more sort of random types of cybersecurity that we've relied on in the past. So yeah, I feel pretty good about the future.
Amazing. Very nice. Thanks for sharing that. Now, I understand that your focus areas include generative AI, fintech, and decarbonization. So, what trends or innovations in these sectors are you most excited about right now?
Obviously, I have kids, so I'm pretty excited about the world getting its act together on climate change.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed in how small the carbon industry remains. There's a lot of amazing people working in that industry, and there has been quite a bit of investment made yet, but nowhere near the level that we need to have for this to be effective and for us to help save the world for our kids. So I'm pretty focused on that personally. I have a side hustle that focuses on that. That's a space project that's working in the climate change area, climate change mitigation. So I'd say that's one area I think that's going to be a big focus for every investor over the next 10 to 30 years, because I think McKinsey is saying it's going to cost us something like $9.3 trillion a year by 2050 to mitigate the effects of climate change. So we should spend a percentage of that now, and then we won't have to spend that massive amount then. So that's an area that's a real area of interest for me in investing.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, John. Now, as someone who has worn many hats from CEO to CTO to investor, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs looking to build innovative, scalable technologies?
Find a mentor is number one. Find some people that are older than you or just wiser than you or just have more experience than you.
Yeah.
And lock onto them and never let them go, because if you have some people who you trust, whose advice you trust, that can be more important than investor dollars in your future. And so I think my core advice would be find someone that you want to look like 20 years from now, and learn from them what it will take to get there. And the only other advice I would give is be authentic. You don't need to pretend to be someone that you're not. It's to me, I always like it when people come in and give a very authentic story about themselves when they're talking about their company that they're raising money for. I gravitate towards authenticity and honesty in those conversations. And I always like it when the founders just come across as just being smart people that have thought about it deeply, but there's a personal thing that's motivating them. And I like to see that coming through.
Absolutely.
In whether it's a job interview or whether they're looking for capital or looking for investment from us.
That's great advice, John. And I have to say that entrepreneurs watching this would really benefit from your advice. Now, John, as we wrap up this interview, we're here today at the Digital Assets and AI event.
Sure.
So can you share your thoughts with the audience? How's it been for you being here today?
So this, I think, is my fifth WI event. I love the WI events. It's always a good a group of people that get together. I think one of the things I notice at these events is there's always founders that are looking to learn, how they can get better at raising capital. Steve was just doing a session on that next door that I was very interested in. But just as many investors that are also looking to understand, how they can invest, how they should invest, how they can get better at that, what their expectations should be. And so conferences like this are incredibly important. Because you can come here either as a founder or an investor and learn and then get together. You can meet up. And I saw a couple of excellent pitches today. I went up to the people afterwards and congratulated them because I thought they did a fantastic job. And so I think what also happens is the founders that aren't giving the pitches that are the most amazing pitches will see these other founders pitch and they'll go, that's interesting. And then they'll learn from watching these people with a bit more experience or a bit more thought into their pitches, they'll learn from that and they'll come back at the next conference and do an even better job. So yeah, I love the WI conferences. I'm a fan.
Amazing. Well, we love having you at all of our
Thank you.
events. And thank you so much for sharing your perspective with our audience today. And thank you so much for the audience to join me in this interview. I look forward to seeing you all in my next interview. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Rhythm.